All right, today's Assetto Corsa adventure is kind of interesting. It all started with a Patreon post from Shin956 announcing that he had released a new Fuji Speedway 1968 overlay, I guess, for fixing the groove and terrain. Now, this is based on a Fuji Speedway track by WilliamTRiker, and then there's a patch to that track from Rainmaker, and then Shin 956's fix applies on top of those two things. You have to apply in order. So I thought I'd do something a little different today, is that I thought I would do a quick just sort of tour, not at pace, just sort of a tour of the track as designed by WilliamTRiker. And this is available on Overtake. I'll put the links in the description. And then I will apply the fixes by Rainmaker. We'll do reconnaissance lap with that. And then I'll apply Shin 956's patch on top of that, and we'll see where we are. So without further ado, I'm in the Porsche 906, which I've driven before. Since we're driving a 1968 track, we should drive a period correct car for the track. And I do love this car. And I'm a big fan of Fuji in modern era. I've not looked at it from this era. This has been around for quite a while. A lot of interesting tire marks, like a lot of bad things have happened. Love the banking. I mean, I could argue for the banking on the modern track, if I'm honest. A lot more interesting tire marks. I said this is not about the pace. It is just about looking at the track. So we can see the iterations. So that was a lap around the track as originally designed by WilliamTRiker. So let's take a look at this now with the Rainmaker patches applied. That update by Rainmaker included adding some AI sidelines and fixed AI crashing into pit wall at start line, which we're not going to take a look at. He remade the grid for the Can-Am layout, which we're not looking at. We're looking at the GP layout. Fixed wrong position display for a pit board app, cropped outlines, corrected sun position, shader overhaul, shadows for all objects, new UI and previews, added loading screens, fixed hairlines over grass, removed unnecessary cubes, added new grass effects and rain effects and water shader, gates for time attack mode, added track descriptions, added VAO, added night lights, and upscaled the texture. So all that was done by Rainmaker. We've applied the patch by Rainmaker, and just for historical reference sake, the original track by WilliamTRiker was released in 2017. Rainmaker did this patch in 2023. You can see a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have improved. Still got a lot of interesting tire marks here. The terrain has changed a little bit. So, arguably, looks a lot better. At least aspects of it do. Oh, sign's down. That's interesting. Hadn't noticed that before. That's kind of cool. Again, this is not about speed. This is just me doing a reconnaissance drive of the track. So that's it. So now let's apply Shin 956's patch with the terrain fixes and some other odds and ends, and we'll take another reconnaissance lap, and then we'll see if we can put a lap down. Now we're actually loaded into the Shin 956 patch. In this, he fixed floating groove and skid marks, fixed holes in the terrain mesh, fixed 2 shaders, and added groove.ini. All cool stuff. By the way, all of this is in the README text in the Shin 956 patch that he provided. So let's go ahead and just do a reconnaissance lap here of the Shin 956 improvements. Immediately I'm seeing some flicker on the road that I didn't see previously. Now that could be a configuration in my system that is wrongly set somehow, and the changes that were made with this patch are picking up, or it could be a bug in the patch. But I don't know until somebody else has a look. To see what it does on their system. Looks good though. Other than the flicker, it looks really nice. When Mount Fuji was young. So, yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the improvements to the road surface, the tire marks that were so obscenely insane are no longer distracting. I wish I could figure out the flicker. And I've tinkered with all sorts of settings that I had been tinkering with over the last little while, and it's none of those, or it doesn't seem to be, because I've turned several things on and off and done all sorts of things, so I'm not really sure what this is being caused by. There's one change that I made that I'll look at. It could be the way in which I did some improvements to speed things up, but they're new in the pre-release of shader patch that I'm using. Kind of funny how different this track feels from the modern era version. We'll go around one more time. Just for funsies. My blip. Trying to remember which one of those blue flags was my breaking point, and I got lost in that thought and missed my shift instead. So that's a look at Fuji 1968 with all the improvements. Starting with the original track in 2017, updates by Rainmaker in 2023, and then Shin 956's recent updates. And other than the tire marks being gone, I'm finding the blinking thing off-putting. So I may revert this back to the version just before, even though the tire marks are also distracting, because I think visually it's a little bit better for me. I'm going to tinker with a setting real quick and see if that setting is what's causing the problem, and then we'll kind of go from there. So bear with me for a few minutes here. So it would seem that going into extra effects in the custom shader patch settings and turning off temporal anti-aliasing solved my flicker problem. I don't know why, but I find it interesting. We'll just show you real quick here. Flicker's gone. Much better. Yeah, looks much better now. Just a little setting, and I have no idea why that was a problem. But it apparently was. Now, I have to admit, the whole reason that I spent the time to walk through the iterations of this great track was primarily to solve that problem. I noticed the flicker, and I didn't want to do the review and not solve the flicker problem, so I went back to the original track, see if it was there. So WilliamTRiker's version didn't have the problem. So I installed Rainmaker's patches, or update. Wasn't in Rainmaker's patch. So then I looked at Shin 956 and then walked through all the reasonable configurations that I had recently changed or modified or just looked at. That was actually one that had been on for a while, and I just looked at. Lo and behold, found my smoking gun, turned it off, Temporal Anti-Aliasing. I'm not even really sure what that is. But whatever it is, gave me flicker in the work that Shin 956 had done to this track. So, turning it off. Track looks beautiful. Isn't costing me anything that I can tell. I didn't actually look at my render stats to see if anything's dramatically changed in terms of how the system's behaving with the track. But I'm not seeing any dropped frames in the drive. So there you have it. Fun track, though. I love this track. It's definitely raceable. I love Fuji. This version of the track is completely different than what my mind is telling me the modern track is. But this is tremendous fun. And of course, in that period, Porsche 906, definitely worth the drive. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be chopped up a little bit, so I apologize if this journey was not the one that you would have expected, but I do appreciate you being on it with me, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye now.
Spaß mache Rennsport.